pure Coys. Oh yeah, hey, come on in and have your say. Why don't you smash that like along the way? Let's talk Spurs with pure Coys. Yeah, let's talk Spurs with pure Coys. Let's talk Spurs with pure Coys.
Yes, guys, good morning. Happy Saturday. It's the weekend again. The weeks go so quick, don't they? But the weekends go even quicker. So let's enjoy it. It is Saturday morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. I've not been on for a week. I did try to go on Monday. Obviously, it didn't work, but not been on for a week. So there's so much to catch up on, as always, with Tottenham. There's always something going on, always something happening, always something kicking off. And this week's no different. We started with Daddy Davis signing a new contract. The whole fan base was having a meltdown about it. If you didn't have a problem with it, you're a bad fan. If you did have a problem with it, you're a bad fan. It is what it is. And as far as yesterday goes, obviously we had the news that Vuskovic could be off to Brighton in a £30 million deal. Now, again, nothing's been confirmed, nothing's been agreed. Apparently, Vuskovic has already agreed personal terms with Brighton. I'm not quite sure how that can happen, but apparently it has. And we wait for what happens. Personally, I think that Brighton have been messed around by Spurs, as most clubs are, for so long with the Van Heck deal. Brighton named their price. Tottenham have been haggling, putting in offers, being rejected, putting in offers, being rejected. Maybe Brighton thought, you know what, they're messing us around. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put a bid in for their brightest young talent and see how they like it. We'll put a bid in probably 20 million less than what it should be. Let's see how Spurs like it. I don't know whether there's any real truth in it, but we will get into it, guys. How are you feeling about it? There is, again, another meltdown yesterday with the whole Vuskovic thing. As far as I'm concerned with it, and I will put my point across before I get you guys, your guys' opinions, we have been craving, calling out the board to back this manager or any manager that we've had for however long I can remember. It's been years. We never back a manager. Pochettino, we don't back him. Harry Redknapp, we don't back him. We bring in Nilsson and Saha instead of the players that he wanted. Finally, maybe the club are backing a manager by saying, De Zerbi has said, apparently, and again, it is only hearsay, apparently De Zerbi has said, Vuskovic is not on my plans for the next 3 to 4 years. I've got the centre-backs I want. I want Van Hecker. He's my man. That's my centre-backs. Vuskovic not on my plans. So Spurs have been, okay, then we'll sell him. We'll get the money back. We'll invest the money, you would hope, back into the team and on players that De Zerbi wants. So finally we are backing a manager and the fans are in uproar again because it's not a player they want to sell. And I get it. But listen, for me, it's really difficult. Do I want to keep Vuskovic? 100%. 100% I want to keep Vuskovic. I think he is the future of Tottenham and there is no doubt in his talent. Problem is, we haven't seen him play a Premier League minute yet. We're all calling him out as one of the best young prodigies in world football, but we've not seen him play a Premier League minute. So we don't actually really know. We think we got a good idea, but we will see during this World Cup just how good Vuskovic is, I guess. But for me, back the manager. If the manager doesn't want him, as much as it pisses me off, as much as it hurts me, because I want to see Vuskovic stay, I'm all up for backing the manager. We have to back this manager with the players he wants, and the players he doesn't want, we have to sell. And if that means losing some players we want to keep, then so be it. Then so be it. We cannot, on one hand, call out the board for not backing a manager, and then when they do, complain because there's a player we don't want to keep. For me, if De Zerbi says next week, Maddison, you're not in my plans, I want to sell you, I won't be happy, but it is what it is. back the manager. And this is where I am with it. Just back the manager now. It's time. If De Zerbi is your man, back him and let's see where we go. Guys, good morning. How you doing? Sorry, that was I waffled on for far too long then. I hope you're all well this Saturday morning. I hope you got nice things planned for the weekend. I will be mostly packing my bags because I am off on my hollybobs, of course, with a certain 2 marks. So it should be interesting. Let's say hello to the chat. Let's see who's in early on this Saturday morning. Logan's in. So morning, Nige, the legend. Big up, mate, and the chat. Hope all as well. League football needs to hurry up because to me, it doesn't even feel like the World Cup. Yeah, big up to you, Logan. It's difficult, isn't it? Look, for me, the World Cup's not really kicked off yet. And listen, as much as it's a World Cup and it needs to be spread all over the world, I much prefer it when it's in Europe and we got games at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and 9, just games all day. That's when I love it. That's when I love it. Now, you might pick a game up in the evening at 8 o'clock. By the time the next one's on, I'm flat out in bed. So, listen, it is what it is. Saw USA got a great win last night. So all the hype with the USA is going up, of course. Everyone's saying that Pochettino was shit and that USA wouldn't do anything and they lost every single game leading up to the World Cup. Well, when it matters, they turned up, they won. It was Paraguay, not the biggest nation in the world, but they got the victory and they got it in style. So fair play to the US and we will see what happens. But listen, I love the World Cup. I do love the World Cup. And I watched the game last night and I watched the game the night before and I'll be watching the game tonight as well. But it will be just probably one game. I might stay up to watch the first half of the Brazilian game. But guys, how do you feel about the World Cup being on? I get what you mean, Logan. For me, it's club for country every time. Rodney's in, saying morning, big up to you. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Rodney. I hope you're well, mate. And Lee Statham's in, saying hello, everyone. Big up, Lee. Hope you're well, mate. Guys, if you haven't, get over to Lee and smash a sub for him. Scott Colliver's in, saying hello, Nigel chat. Big up to you, Scott. I hope you're well, mate. Good morning. What have you all got planned for this weekend? All week has been absolutely horrific. It's been like middle of winter, cold, hoodies on, getting wet. I felt like I've been coming down with summer all week. I woke up this morning, there's not a cloud in the sky. It is gorgeous out. So hopefully we're going to have a lovely weekend. Pete Chambers is in. Big up, Pete. Says, morning, Nige. Big up, mate. I posted last night. No idea what happened to that comment. Ah, well. Big up to everyone coming into the chat. Big up to you, Pete. Listen, I think when people post the night before, I don't know whether it's just they just disappear. The next day you could turn it on, they're gone. I don't know what it is, but big up to you, Pete. Hope you're well. And I know you did say big up to Kate as well. Pete saying big up to Logan. And he says big up to the lovely Kate. Absolutely. Cookie is in. So morning, Nige, mate. Hi to the chat. Good morning to you, Cookie. I hope you're well, buddy. I will be passing you over to the 2 marks straight after this. Bob's in. Says the rumours about Luca is just clickbait. It could well be. It could well be. You could be right, Bob. For me, it could be a way of Brighton saying, come on, if you want to have Van Heck, hurry this deal up, or we're going to start poaching your players, or trying to anyway. So how true it is, I don't know, but we will see, guys. We will see. As the weeks go on, I guess it's not something that's going to happen. I don't think this weekend. I think the World Cup will play out before anything happens with Vuskovic. Pete saying good morning to Cookie. And Logan saying good morning to Pete. Everyone saying hello to each other, which is fantastic. Bob says he has 4 years left on his contract. He is going nowhere. I'd be amazed if Tottenham sold him. I would be, because I do think he's the future of Spurs. But, it is what it is, isn't it? If he wants first team football, he's going to have to leave, because he's clearly not De Zerbi's man at the moment. De Zerbi's got his 3 centre-backs now. Forget Romero, Dragic, I think they're both going. And it looks like we're going to get Van Heck over the line at some point. So Vuskovic is clearly not De Zerbi's man. So if he wants first team football, he's going to have to go out, whether that be on loan. What I'd like to see is Spurs loan him out to a Premier League club where he's going to get lots of minutes, and him to almost force De Zerbi into saying, I'm your man. Look how good I am. you need me back. And then next season he comes back. And whether that be Danzo comes out for him or whoever, it doesn't matter. If Vuskovic is that good, he will force his way into the Spurs team with great performances out on loan. So let's hope he does that. That's what I'd like to see. But listen, we will see what happens. Pete says, from my point of view, what will be. The board and the fans need to put their trust in De Zerbi. January will be the time to make judgments. Listen, big up to you, Pete. I'm kind of in agreement. I would say even, listen, this is something that's not going to happen overnight, right? We're not patient at all, are we, as fans? We've got to now be patient. If we are going to back De Zerbi, which I hope we are, we need to say, okay, there you go, De Zerbi. There's your players. You want these players? There you go, have them. And then we need to play out a season. You know, not 5-6 months. January we go again, maybe get another signing in. But this isn't a question of going out and buying 10, 12 players in one window and getting rid of 10, 12. You know, we need to do it slowly. We need to bring in 5 or 6, get rid of 5 or 6 in January, bring another 1, 2 in if we're lucky. And then summer, bring another 4 or 5 in and just continue like that. For me, if we bring in 12, we're asking for trouble because it's going to take a while then for them all to settle. And it's just unrealistic, right? It's just unrealistic for us to be bringing in 10, 12 players over a summer window and expect them then all to gel. And this is why, and I'll repeat myself again, this is why I've not got a problem. And again, fan base meltdown. I've not got a problem with Ben Davies staying until next summer. It's one more year. We're in no rush. We've got no European football. Ben Davies isn't going to play. So what is the harm in just giving him that extra year? Because the alternative is we let him go and then we have to bring in somebody else. And somebody else isn't going to want to come in. Somebody else of quality isn't going to want to come in and be 4th or 5th choice centre back or 3rd or 4th choice left back. So we might as well keep Ben Davies for another year. And that's a position we can sort out next summer. I haven't got an issue with it. And listen, fans will melt down. You know, it is what it is. But for me, it's just not a massive issue. It really isn't. And Bob says, unless De Zerbi wants him gone. I mean, I can't see De Zerbi would be like, nah, he's no good for me. I would probably, like's been reported, De Zerbi probably said, if I get Van Hecker in, I've got my 4 centre backs. He's not in my plans at the moment. So loan him out. Don't sell him, loan him out. And listen, it is what it is. Even try and get him to sign a new contract. You know, I know Bob said he's got a 4-year contract or 4 years left. Get him to sign an extension. Get him to sign a 5-year contract. Give him more money and say, right, if you live up to what we think you're going to live up to, there's the money, but we're going to put you on loan. I don't see an issue with that. Let's see what happens. Machina Joe's in. Big up Machina said, hello, Mr. Nigel. How's it going, mate? I'll get this out of the way. If you want to sell Vuskovic, we'll do you a favour and take him off your hands. He's overrated. So we're helping you out. I've got a feeling there's a bit of sarcasm in the overrated, being the fact he's Croatian, you're Croatian. Listen, Everton could be a good move for him on loan. But again, I will caveat that by saying, I don't want to sell him. Let him go out on loan for a couple of years even. He's 18, isn't he? Let him go out for a couple of years on loan to a Premier League club, get Premier League minutes, and then come back to Spurs, the absolute player we all know he's going to be. But again, like I say, it's one of them because we have to back a manager, right? If the manager doesn't want him, he's not in his plans right now, then what do? Do we overrule the manager and say, no, sorry, we're keeping him, he's in your plans? Because then it's a recipe for disaster, right? It's a difficult one. This could be the first little bump in the De Zerbi road at Tottenham, but we will see. Gavin's in. Big up to you, Gavin. Said, why not just loan him and then see how he gets on in the Prem? That's exactly what I would do, Gavin. Loan him out. There's no need to sell him yet. Like I say, and Bob just said he's got 4 years left on his contract. Loan him out for a season. Loan him out for a year. Let's see how he does in the Premier League. Loan him to a Premier League club where he gets minutes, so starts a lot of games. And we will see. We will see what happens. But I'm with you. I'm with you there, Gavin, 100%. Pete says, a little tip, guys. Paddy Power are giving away free £5 bet builders on each England game. Nice. Nice. I like that. I like that. I had a little cheeky little bet last night and I lost. So, that was disappointing. I did the Canada game. I did Canada to lose. And 10 corners in a match, which there was. There's 10 corners in the first half. So it was brilliant. And I did Canada to get more bookings. And it was, I think they lost that as well. But it was going well for about 50 minutes. I was on top. I had about £16 cash out. I was like, woo, £16. But I didn't cash out when I lost. So there you go. Andrew Gregory's in saying, morning, Nige. Hope you've had a good week, mate. I've had a good week. It's been all right. Yeah. It's been busy. And this weekend is going to be just as busy. Today, packing. Tomorrow, working. Monday, I've got more work. I literally crammed all my week into one day. So it's going to be horrific. But then Tuesday, from Tuesday onwards, I will be led on a sunbed somewhere. Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice and needed. I hope you're well, Andrew. I hope you're well. Wembers is in. Said, morning, Nigel, and all in the chat. Thought Canada deserved a draw last night, and the stakes were quite impressive. Paraguay, no walkover. Absolutely. Yeah, I thought Canada were quite good last night. I've got to be honest. Listen, I'm not going to lie. Don't think a lot of that Jonathan David. I've seen him a few times. And he's not for me. Another player we're being linked with. We have been before. No doubt we will get linked with him again this summer. In fact, I'll put it out there. I reckon that's the striker Spurs will sign in the summer, Jonathan David. And for me, big no. He's not the man. But let's see what happens. Yeah, Canada did well last night. And the States, listen, I've only seen the result and a couple of goals. But really good victory. Because, like you say, Paraguay, no walkover. They're not the biggest nation. But they're always in the World Cup, and they always, they hold their own. So good result for the US. Pete says, time wise has put me off. Your first game is 9 p.m. I'll fall asleep. Yeah, listen, I'm the same. Usually tucked up in bed by 10 o'clock. So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the World Cup. I know, like I said, I know it's got to go all over the world. It's the whole point of a World Cup. But give it to me in Europe anytime. Andrew says, I'm pathetic at the moment about the world. Oh, I'm apathetic at the moment about the World Cup. Yeah, it's not really kicked in yet, is it? I'm trying to watch the games, but it's not something where I'm like, oh my God, it's a game on, I've got to watch it. But I try to watch at least one game a day. It means I have to miss Love Island, but it is what it is. Got to watch the footy, I guess. Stig's in, send morning, Nige, mate, and the chat. We've got to tie Vuskovic down to a new contract. Who knows if he's going to progress? But these teams are in for him. See something. Yeah, listen, I'm in agreement. I think tie him down to a nice contract, a nice lucrative contract, and see how he does for the next couple of years. See how he does. If we can get him to sign an extra year or an extra 2 years, if we got him on a 6-year contract, a bit like Chelsea do, and then just loaned him out for a couple of years till he's 20. See how he does in the Premier League, even if it's another season in Europe and then a season in the Premier League. See how he does. If he's that good, he will force his way into the Tottenham side. And you're right, some of the big boys are after him already, absolutely. But we also got to remember some of the big boys were after Dragoshin and Bergvall as well. So listen, let's see how he does. He is still young. We will see. Andrew says World Cup doesn't start for me until the knockout stage. Yeah, absolutely. But I got to say, I think Wednesday night, England-Croatia has got to be the game of the round, isn't it? Massive game. What a great start, England-Croatia opening game. Spurs Rule says, how did the US get the World Cup in 94 and 26 and we don't get it for so long? It's crazy. Money, mate. It's all about the money. Yeah, it is what it is. Adam says we don't need Van Heck. Just get Vuskovic back. Generational talent, trust. Listen, big up to you, Adam. I'm not disagreeing with you there. Listen, if I had my choice, I'd say don't get Van Heck. Get Vuskovic in. We can spend that money elsewhere. But as I've said at the start, I am all for backing this manager. And if Van Hecker is De Zerbi's man, if De Zerbi has come out and said, you get me Van Hecker, he's my man, then we've got to do it, right? We've got to back the manager. or like I've said, what's the point? It's going to be another failed project 18 months down the line. We've got to at least back him. And then if he fucks up, you know what? We backed you and you messed up. So for me, back him, get Van Hecker in, but do not sell Vuskovic if we can help it. Don't sell him. Just get him on a big contract and loan him out. Pete says that's a bloody good point, Spurs rule. Absolutely, it is. Aksha, big up Aksha says, hello. Hello, how are you? I hope you're well. How are you feeling about the World Cup? How are you feeling about Spurs? Oh, excuse me. I had a chocolate hobnob before I started, and you know what? A little bit of biscuit has got stuck in my throat. Spurs Rule says Brighton should be swept aside, and it's embarrassing that they can lowball us like that. We should just get Van Heck on a free to annoy them. Yeah, just say, yeah, just wait a year and we get you on a free. Listen, it is what it is. Maybe Brighton just like, you know what, you're messing us about with Van Heck. I mean, player is his value is as much as the team wants to sell him, right? So if Brighton want 70 million for Van Heck, whether he's got a year left on his contract or not, doesn't matter, right? He's their player. Then if Spurs really want him, we're gonna have to pay it. As crazy as it is. For me, we need to keep Brighton on side, don't we? So I think loaning Vuskovic to him could be the ideal. The ideal. You know, loan them to him. Maybe take 10 million off the price. Maybe take 15 million off the price for Van Heck, and say you want 60 million. Say we give you 45 million plus Vuskovic on loan for 2 years. And by the way, we want Van Bruggen as well, and maybe Belieber. You know, maybe we want a few more of your players. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I think I hear that we're very strongly in for Van Bruggen as well. So we are literally going Dutch this summer. So yeah, we're going in for Van Bruggen as well. And he's a top keeper, very good with his feet, perfect for the De Zerbi way of playing. And again, this is what we've got to do, right? We've got to bring players that suit De Zerbi's system, the way De Zerbi wants to play. Otherwise, there's no point. It's going to fail miserably. Right? For the last 3, 4, 5 managers, we've had players who don't fit the systems, and we've wondered why it hasn't worked. So this is massively why I say we have to back this manager, or there is no point. Adam says empty seats equals greedy Yanks. Yeah, the prices are astronomical, aren't they? Absolutely astronomical. It's crazy. This is the World Cup. Should be for everyone. They are priced so many people out of it. But you know what? It is what it is. This is the land of the free, right? It is what it is. Spurs Rule says Brighton are a small team and should get relegated. Bit harsh, Spurs Rule, but you know, I get what you're saying. We're not happy with them at the moment. We're not happy with them. Pete says once Russia won 2018, we were ineligible for 2022 and 2026. The conspiracy theory that is probably correct is that FIFA manufactured to 2030 being Europe, Africa, and South America to ensure Saudi got it. Listen, it's all about money, mate, isn't it? It's all about money. I don't want to say too much because I don't, you know, if I disappear off YouTube, you know why. But it is all about money. It really is. And it is what it is. It is what it is. As long as I get to watch the football, I'll be honest, I don't really care. You know, I don't really care. Life is too short to worry about whether it's in one country or another every 4 years. You know, as long as we get the Euros, it's all good. Vindaloo says, morning, Nige. We'll take Vuskovic for 30 million over 4 payments as you're our neighbours. We're chucking a few Cadbury cream eggs on performance and whispers. I'll tell you what, I take it. You didn't have me, but then you mentioned whisper, and I'm there. If you make it whisper gold, 25 mil is yours, mate. 25. Love a whisper gold. Absolutely bloody lovely. Axaya says Vuskovic wants first team football now. We should keep him as rotation with VDV and Senesi with Danzo. Get Van Heck next on a free. Again, this is not a bad idea. Why not? Why not? And again, we kept Davis for a reason, right? Van der Ven and Senesi as your 2 left-footed centre backs, and then Danzo and Vuskovic as your right centre backs. and get Van Heck next summer on a free transfer. Boom, saved money. We can spend our money elsewhere. 1 game a week. Listen, for me, that's a really good idea. I don't know why we don't do that. But again, I go back to it. If Van Heck is De Zerbi's man and De Zerbi is adamant that he wants him, and we've got to show that we're going to back this manager. You've just got to do it, haven't we? Get him in. And I think this is the situation we're in. I really do. I think this is the situation we're in. Being the fact we only have 1 game a week, there is no pressure. There is no pressure. You know, the players are not playing 2-3 games a week. You know, we won't, hopefully, touch wood, need a massive squad to get through this season. We just need quality to get us up that table. And I think, honestly, I think if we all sign 3 or 4 players, ignore the 2 we've already signed. If we'd have signed 3 or 4 more players that go straight into that first team, I don't see any reason why we can't challenge for Europe next season. I really don't. Personally, I really don't. But guys, let me know what you think. How many players do you think we need to realistically challenge for a top 6 place next season? I think another 4. I think if we go out and get 4, I think we can absolutely challenge for the top 6. But we will see. Bob says the new rules state you can only give a child player a maximum 5-year contract. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Didn't know that, but I guess, I mean, how old do you have to be for a child player? I guess once you're over 18, right? You're a man, so I don't know. I get it if you're 16, 17, but we will see. I don't know. Machina Joe says in 2005, Lion Septic Blatter said in an interview on Australian TV that FIFA would rotate continents as World Cup hosts. Australia still waiting. Oceania should have been the host in 2022. England in 2018. Listen, there is no doubt what the world order is in this world, right? There is no doubt. We kind of know. So it is what it is. Bob says, not child mistype. Okay. my argument's totally gone there. Isaiah said, we can't loan Vuskovic. He wants first team now. Brighton's model is no loan, then buy cheap. Talent is so on high. They would never accept it. Okay, we'll loan him to someone else then. Loan him to someone else. If he wants first team football now, get him a side where he's guaranteed first team football. And if he's that good, he's going to get first team football anyway. So for me, if Brighton don't want him on loan, fine. Loan him somewhere else. Loan him to another Premier League side. There are plenty of other Premier League top teams that would take him and give him minutes, I'm sure. Spurs Rule says Saudi and Qatar getting it is a joke. Yep. And Corey's in saying, look at that yet again. Someone's slagging off my hometown Brighton. I haven't got a clue about football. Ouch. Yeah, listen, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. We are where we are. Andrew says FIFA is corrupt 100%. Spurs Rule said we should just start Vuskovic and get Van Heck on a free transfer, then and then sell Vuskovic for 150 million next summer. So if Vuskovic is as good as he is, then get him in the side as soon as possible, and hopefully it'll be a mainstay for many years. If we want to start winning things, we have to build a culture and build a team, right? But building a team doesn't take 5 minutes, doesn't take one window. This is something we're going to have to be patient as Spurs fans. I hate to say it, right? I hate to say it. I'm going to say what Thomas Frank said. Next season, we will lose games. We will lose games. But we need to be patient with this manager. Give him time, give him the tools, and let's see what we can do. But one thing we don't want to do is be selling our best assets if we can help it. And Vuskovic could be, I'm not saying he is, he could be that in a few years to come. Right now, he isn't. Let's be honest, he's not kicked a ball. He's not kicked a Premier League ball for Tottenham. So if we sold him for 30, 40, 50 million, we don't know. Yes, in years to come, we could look at him and say, remember, we had him, we never played him, we sold him, look at him now. That could well be the case, but right now we don't know. We will see what happens. Spurs Rule says, isn't it funny how the likelihood of signing any players has dropped since the season ticket renewals passed? Happens every year and fans fall for every time. ENIC have no intention of spending. Mate, we will see. Listen, um, it is what it is. Yes, the rumours have gone a bit quiet, admittedly. They have gone a bit quiet. This whole Savinho thing was every day. Savinho is getting closer, it's getting closer, inching towards the buzzword bingo starting. Suddenly it's gone quiet on Savinho. And similar with Van Heck as well, you know. It was closer. It's going to be done by Tuesday. It's going to be done by Wednesday. We're now Saturday. We're no closer to it being done. And we wait, right? We wait and see. But mate, I kind of agree with you. It is what it is. Spurs also Brighton's model will only get so far. Soon bigger teams will get their players they want and they will have to accept relegation. I don't think it's any time soon though, Spurs will. I think they know how to run a club, right? They're clever. They have great scouts, they have, you know, great recruitment team, and they pick up the gems before they're gems. And this is what Spurs have to learn to do, right? We've got to pick up those gems before they become players. And we don't. We don't. We spend 40 million on Archie Gray instead of going out and paying 3 or 4 million on somebody from, I don't know, Ecuador. That suddenly in a year's time, we're like, wow, where did he come from? That's what Brighton do. That's what Spurs need to learn to do. I want to sack the board. Big up to you. Said on a positive note, Vuckovic's performance in the World Cup might change Roberto De Zerbi's mind. Absolutely. And this is why I don't think anything happens until the World Cup is done. And for me, listen, again, we don't even know whether any of this is true. You know, we don't. It's all paper talk. It's all social media talk, rumors, and it could be, like I said earlier, a way of Brighton to hurry Tottenham up and saying, you want Van Heck, pay up. Otherwise, F off. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Corey says the reason why FIFA are doing this with the bidding in the World Cup, like USA, Canada, Mexico, is so they can lock them out for ages and then Saudi get to free shot again. Quite possibly, yeah, quite possibly. Listen, I mean, with all due respect, Canada, massive nation, beautiful nation, one country that I'd love to go to, Canada. But they have a really, you know, not many people live there, do they? Really, for the size of the country. And I couldn't see them getting a World Cup alone. You know, it's a bit like Scotland will never get a European Championship alone. They will always be mixed in with England. And I guess the same with well, Mexico did have 86, didn't they? But yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point, Corey. Bindaloo said Machina Joe very fair. I think considering the Enoch family are selling their family jewels to make transfers, plus now they got the season ticket holders sorted, they'll be shopping at car boots now. And then he says normal service has been resumed. All I would say is look, um, all I would say is the window's not open yet. The window's not open. It opens officially Monday, I think. Um, we will see. Big up to you, Vindaloo. Comes in, drops a few mics and then fucks off. Big up to you, Vindaloo, mate. Hope you're well, buddy. Have a good weekend. I want to sack the board, said, laugh my ass off. Brighton creates so many haters. They do. And it's pure jealousy, I think. Listen, I'd love to be run like Brighton, but we're not. Yes, Brighton, a small time team. In the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand scheme of things, I can remember seeing them at the Goldstone ground and you know, nearly going out of business. But they're here now and they're here to stay. And they're a brilliantly run club, a brilliantly run club. And it's a lovely place to go. Lovely place to go. See many a gig in Brighton. Good times. Machina Joe says Brighton taking the piss. They develop him and sell Vuskovic later for the price higher than the 90 million paid City paid for Guardiola. If Spurs agreed to this cheap price, there'd be the laughing stock. I agree, but it's one for me that if we were to sell, if it was to happen and we were to sell, we would have to say, look, it would have to be minimum 45, 50 million. And then we'd have to get some sort of sell on fee, you know, a 20% on whatever. So if Brighton sold them for 100 million, we'd get another 20 million. Um, we'd have to. Otherwise, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It makes no sense at all. It really doesn't. Right, let's go through. Jimmy's in. Big up Jimmy. He says, big up Nigel in the chat. Good morning. Big up to you, Jimmy. I hope you're well. Guys, just over 50 in the house. Haven't asked yet this morning. If you haven't, please smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Really would appreciate it. Cookie says, let's see if they pull their fingers out of the shitter and follow up the actions, not words, 100%. Massive week next week, I feel, for Spurs. I know the World Cup's on now. Transfers don't really usually get done during the World Cup, but massive week for Tottenham. They need to go out and need to spend some money, get some transfers done. It opens Monday, so let's see what happens. Machina Joe says the best thing for Spurs to drive up the price is for Vuskovic to score a header from a set piece and do a goal line clearance against England, and Romero get a red card in Argentina's first game. Yes, I mean, that would be ideal. Hopefully, it's Vuskovic can score from a header. He can score 20-yard worldie, 25-yard worldie, a scissor kick against England. Fine, as long as England score 4 or 5 and win the game like 5-3, doesn't matter. But yeah, we will see what happens. It's going to be an interesting game Wednesday night, Machina Joe. Croatia, a little bit of a bogey side for England. We don't usually do that well against them in tournaments. So we will see. I want to sack the balls. I think Brighton are salty about us tapping up their players. Absolutely. This is what I think is probably or maybe what's gone on. They're so fed up with us going in, saying, yeah, we'll have a bit of you. Thank you very much. Agreed a fee. We've agreed personal terms. And it's absolutely fine, right? When Spurs do it. We've gone out, we've agreed personal terms with Van Hecker, and everyone's like, well, we've agreed personal terms, so why haven't we signed him? And then as soon as we hear that Vuskovic has a full agreement with Brighton and Van Hersler, the Spurs fans are up in arms. Well, I don't think you could do that. You're not allowed to do that. That's illegal, surely. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether any of it's true, but it's interesting conversation, right? Andrew Gregory says, congratulations to the legend Cliff Jones on his MBE. Absolutely congratulations to Cliff Jones. I think brilliant news. I must admit, I woke up this morning and was doom scrolling through Twitter first thing, half asleep, and I saw loads of pictures of Cliff Jones. I was like, oh, my heart went in my throat for a minute. I was like, oh no. And then when I woke up properly, put my glasses on, I'm like, oh, okay, he's got an MBE. That's fantastic. So yeah, massive congratulations to Cliff Jones on his MBE. My chat has stopped. So guys, what are we saying? What do we think? England coming up in the World Cup. We've got a massive game against Croatia Wednesday night. We're going to be in some bar in Albafiore watching it. The beers will be flowing, no doubt. But do we see England winning that game? It's going to be a tough one. And if we lose, oof, wow, it's going to be a tough group to get out of, right? We will see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be once England play in the World Cup, it gets started. I think it's going to be a good one. Really disappointed not going to get to see Scotland. Their first game's like 2 a.m, isn't it? Which is absolutely shocking. But it is what it is. Joe's in. Big up Joe. Said the Van Hecker deal would be separate to Luca. I think there's a deal to be done for Luca with a buyback clause or sell-on clause, which include Bart Verbruggen in the deal. We get a Prem proven defender and goalkeeper. Listen, I wouldn't be against that. I know we're massively going in for Van Bruggen as well. Again, top keeper, great with his feet, exactly what we need. I wouldn't be against it at all. Van Bruggen and Kinski as our 2 keepers. I'd be really happy with that, guys. What do you agree? Van Bruggen, would he be the man for you to bring in? I know, a lot of people talking about Trafford, but again, Van Bruggen's a player that De Zerbi knows, he's worked with, and we will see. But yeah, I think, like I say, if we are going to sell Luca, we have to have a buyback clause or a massive sell-on clause. And if we can get that done and get Van Bruggen as well as part of the deal, happy days. Jimmy says the best start of our window could be to go and get Bournemouth director of football. How can we expect better things with Lange in negotiations? 100%. 100%. Listen, Lange is a joker. He's the worst. He is the worst. And for me, he needs to be gone. The fact that he's still here is a really poor show from Spurs, and the fact that we haven't got a director of football in, and we've clearly been after one, is concerning, concerning. And of course, this news come out during the week as well that their director of football we were going to get in. His name's gone out of my head right now, but he's rejected Tottenham. Part of the reason he's rejected Tottenham, De Zerbi wasn't overly keen to work with him. So that's the rumours. I don't know. De Zerbi getting his way again? Is this a good thing? I think it is, right? We have to back this manager. De Zerbi's going to get a lot more say in the team, and this is exactly what we need. And for me, listen, Lange is a wet lettuce, right? He might be the perfect man for De Zerbi to come in and say, these are the players I want, go get them. And I can imagine Lange being up against the wall, like crying, like, okay, I'll get them. Yeah, whatever you want, De Zerbi. So listen, hey, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Paige's in said, morning, peeps. Morning, Paigey. I hope you're well. And then she says, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Absolutely. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. If you haven't, really would appreciate it. Corey has said, about time that beautiful gentleman got his MBE. I've met him a few times before, phones and had cameras. He always had time for Spurs fans. Absolutely. Darren Reese is in. Said, morning, Nige. If Spurs are savvy, they will sell us with a buyback. They will sell us with a buyback clause for the same amount. Yes. Listen, if he's desperate for first team football and he only wants to leave, doesn't want to go out on loan again, then Spurs have to get the best deal for Spurs, right? Jimmy says, easy win for Vuskovic. Just let the World Cup play out. And watch the fee rise and rise. Yeah, I mean Spurs would be mental to sell him now, just before the World Cup, right? And Vuskovic has a great World Cup, and suddenly that 30 million we could get 70, 60, 70 million. We will see. We will see what happens with Vuskovic. It's going to be an interesting summer. Pagey says Vuskovic to Bayern. Listen, yeah, maybe we could do a straight swap with Harry Kane and maybe a few more of their players as well. Pagey says one can dream. Indeed. Carl's in. So morning, Nigel and Chagger. Morning to you, Carl. I hope you're well. Dexter, big up to you, Dexter. Just says this World Cup is ass. Yeah, it's not been the best start, hasn't it? It's for me, like I say, living in the UK, I want to see games all day. I love it when you get home from work and there's a game on at 4, and there's a game on at 6, and there's a game on at 8, and it's just like football, just feet up, football's on all evening, all afternoon. And now it's just like the only game you can realistically watch is the 8 o'clock game if you're working the next day. And so far, the 8 o'clock game, let's be honest, has been pretty trash. So it is what it is. Brazil on tonight at 11, might stay up for that. And yeah, I think Scotland this morning, or tomorrow morning, like 2 a.m. Crazy. Axia said we have never gone into negotiations coming out on top and covering all bases. Reason why Levy did everything himself, 100%. 100%. We haven't. It's going to be an interesting summer. Spurs need to change. And apparently, by the looks of it, so far, not much has changed, but we will see what happens. The window, like I say, is not open yet. Paisley says only 3 games in. Like this is it. We are only 3 games in. For me, it's more about the timings than anything else. I want to see every game. I want to watch every game, kick every ball. But yeah, missing too many games early doors already. Pete says Dexter has not been the greatest, but bear in mind it's only just started. Is never at his best until the next round. Yeah. Paige, he says, swap Kane. Nah, thanks. I'm good. Fair play. Thought I'd ask. Maybe we could offer you Tell back as well. Part of the deal. Tell and Vuskovic, we'll take Harry Kane. And who's the young kid who's like 17, 18? Looks really good. Young German kid. He looks like a player, by the way. Can't remember his name right now. Razzle's in, said, morning, Nige. Hope you're good. I'm good, Razzle. I hope you are too, mate. And Dexter says, Pete Chambers, I tried to watch it last night, switched off and put the rugby on. Listen, yeah, for me, it wasn't. It was an okay game. What was it, Canada and Bosnia? It was an okay game, but these are early round games, right? Early round games. I think sometimes we get a little bit of we watch old World Cups and we're like, oh, what a great World Cup that was. But then there are quite often games that are pretty shit in those World Cups as well. You know, for me, the greatest World Cup, without doubt, 1990, Italia 90 was the greatest World Cup. I saw someone on YouTube about it the other day. And just the intro on British TV with Pavarotti, and it's just like, oh, what a World Cup that was. Such a great World Cup. Schillaci and Lineker and Gaza crying. It was just brilliant, brilliant World Cup. But listen, there's been great World Cups as well since then. But for me, Italia 90 was the best World Cup. Pete James said, did the same, mate. Absolutely. Paige said group stage usually a bit difficult to get through. Yeah, absolutely. Pete says, very true, Paige. Paige said 1998 World Cup is my fave. Listen, yeah, the 98 World Cup was brilliant. Again, it was in France, right? So every game was on. And yeah, it was a really good World Cup, to be fair. Really good World Cup. Ronaldo probably at his very best. And then what happened to him just before the final was heartbreaking, because for me, Ronaldo, R9, the best Ronaldo, yes. Ronaldo, Portugal, is probably what the greatest goal scorer of all time, because he's just a goal scorer. But the Brazilian Ronaldo was absolutely something else. He really was. Axaya says Leonard Carl is a Bayern player. Yeah, I think that's the one I mean. Yeah, some player. Some player. Dexter said no hype for either. I just can't see the fever. There doesn't seem to be, does there? Doesn't seem to be. It hasn't really been this massive, massive build up to the World Cup. Um, I don't know. It's just not the same. It's just not the same as it used to be. For me, I'm showing my age now. I'm proper old. You know when like your parents, like, oh, your parents say to you, "Oh, it's not like it was in our day." I'm like literally like that now, and but it's not. It's not the same. Matt's in. Big up, nice. Big up to you, Matt. Hope you're well, buddy. Razzle saying a 2002, my favourite World Cup, Ronaldo at his best. Yeah, Ronaldo was great then as well. Absolutely. Rivaldo and Ronaldinho. Yeah, listen, Brazil were just a brilliant. They've been a brilliant side for years, and it's sad to see, because Brazil are not the team they used to be, are they? They really aren't. Cookie says in 1970 Brazil, a team to behold. Absolutely. Even the 82 Brazil. I can remember the 82 game, Brazil, Italy. Remember that game? Oh, what a great game of football that was. And yeah, there's some great World Cups over the years. The 86 World Cup was a good one. But yeah, for me, Italian 90, the great German side, Lothar Matthäus, really, really good World Cups. But we could say it about any World Cup, right? They're always great teams in that. Axaya says, you don't see anyone approaching other big club talents. You're not touching them unless you're looking at 100 million for potential. How Vuskovic should be at. I'm kind of in agreement. If you want Vuskovic, you're going to have to pay through the nose, because you're not paying for what he is now. You're paying for what he could be. So 100%, 100%. Paisley says R9 and Miroslav Klose, my favourite strikers to compete in World Cups. Klose was a weird one, wasn't he? Because he was never like prolific club-wise. But when he played in World Cups, always scored goals. Brilliant striker, close on. Linked with Spurs a few times over the years, but never actually came. I don't think he ever would. Pete says it's the timing of the World Cup, i.e., kickoff times. What's killing it? 4 and 8 p.m. kickoffs is all good. These late kickoffs are shit. 100%. 100%. Paige is saying big up to Pete and Cookie. And Pete said good morning to Paigey. Paigey says Ronaldinho, what a player he was. He was something else, wasn't he? He was something else, Ronaldinho. What a great player. So many great Brazilians. Roberto Carlos was just like, what a great player. And his free kicks, his shooting, left foot to die for. Absolutely brilliant left foot, Roberto Carlos. And yeah, it's gonna, like I say, watching Brazil this year could be interesting. They're a bit more workmanlike now than what they used to be. There's not so much flair, but I don't think there's much flair in football anymore. Right? The flair in football is just gone. It is what it is. It's too robotic, and we are where we are. The Stoic is in. Big up the Stoic. Says rumours are we are after Brighton winger Matoma now. We're literally just going through the whole Brighton side. So what's that? Matoma, Van Heck, Verbruggen. I'm sure Belieber will get mentioned. I know Cookie is a big fan of Belieber. He is a believer. I'm not so much, but you know, I wouldn't say no to him. But there's 4 players right now. I'm sure there's going to be more. We will see. We will see. Crazy. Um, Corey says, asking a question, mate. Who have Italy got in the World Cup again? Yeah, I got to say, the World Cup is not the same without Italy. It really isn't. It is not the same without Italy. Razzle says Rivaldo was always my favourite player based on a bias to a left footer. There's all this rumor going around. I don't know whether it's true. There's massive rumor going around. At the time, that Rivaldo had like false teeth, right? I always remember it. Like Rivaldo's got false teeth. Look at his, and I don't know whether he did or not. He might have, but it's weird now how that was such a big issue back then. But right now, everyone's got false teeth, right? Everyone's got. I'd love to go to Turkey to get my teeth done, but yeah, people don't even think about it now. But at the time, it was a massive thing. Rivaldo's got false teeth. Jimmy says we need to start by building the spine of the team. So new keeper, CDM, and striker, or 2. That's how the great teams get structured. Absolutely, spine is the most important. And if De Zerbi wants Van Bruggen, if he wants Van Heck, that's a good start. That's a good start to a spine. Then you go and get your number 8, your central midfielder, and your striker, which is imperative. Um, Matt says Shifo for Belgium. What a player in the World Cup. That's a player, mate. I haven't thought about him, but yeah, he was a great player, wasn't he? And it's when Belgium were not a great side, but they did have Shifo. Who, yeah, some good players in for different teams in the World Cup. I can remember, you know, he was a good player. Stojkovic, great player, and Hadji, and you know, that Romanian side of the 90s. They were a good side. Stojkovic, of course, with Bulgaria, but some great players for great nations. Paige says the early morning games I just watched the following day. I did with the Korea USA games. Fair play, Paige. I can't do it. I can't do it. I couldn't watch a whole game. Are you talking about the whole game or just the highlights? I couldn't watch a whole game that's not live. I'm one of them. I have to watch it live or not at all. And Paige says, not staying up. I don't blame you. Machina Joe says, Corey, Italy and Serbia are in the same group. Are Italy in the World Cup? They're not. I don't know. See, I don't even know what teams are in the World Cup. Cookie says, Jarzinho, what a player. Absolutely. What a great player he was. Paige says, today's game are too much system based. All the creativity is coached out of the players. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so sad. It's so sad that we won't get players like we used to anymore. Every now and again we will, you know, but for the most part we won't, which is really sad. Football is just not the same as what it is, and I'm sounding like my dad again. Hayes says, speaking of left footers, perhaps it's just me, but I always hate it when they take penalties. Um, Interesting one. I'm a left footer. I'm a left footer. I always, but I never took a penalty. Never took a penalty in my whole playing career. I'm talking like I was professional. I wasn't, but never took a penalty. Took a few free kicks, scored a few free kicks, but never a penalty. So you could be right there, Pagey. Two darn so forth saying, show my age now, but Brazil 1970 side and the England side, I'm come to mention it. Great memories, not forgetting Mexico 1970s. Play a sticker album, laugh out loud. Listen, yeah, listen, I wasn't alive for the 70s World Cup, but I can remember the early 80s, and this just football's changed, isn't it? can remember watching England Argentina in the '86 knockout game and watching it in the Mexico Stadium, wasn't it? And it looked unbearable. The heat looked unbearable, and it just looked like another world away. Um, and probably that was the cameras and stuff like that. But looking at it now, I saw the Mexico game in the same stadium, and I'm like, it looks like a totally different place. But it is weird. It is weird. Paige said, was Shifo still around in the 90s? I mainly remember Luca Nilis. I don't think Shifo was. He might have been around in the early 90s, but he would have been an older player, I think. Carl says Rivaldo wrote Glenn Hoddle a letter when we tried to sign him to say thanks, but no thanks. Well, at least we went for him. At least we went for him. Like we tried. We tried, Carl. It's what we do. Paige says entire game nights just need to avoid YouTube and X. That's all fair enough. Yeah, fair play. I guess if you don't know the score, it's different. But for me, every now and again, I like to put a little couple of pound on a game. So yeah, I would know the next day if I've won or lost. Maybe I shouldn't look at it. That's a good idea, isn't it? But yeah, listen, I'm sure as the World Cup goes on, it will get more interesting. It will get more interesting. Razzle saying, do you expect England to win the World Cup? And if we don't, does Tuchel deserve to stay on? I don't expect England to win the World Cup, mate. Personally, I don't think we've got the team. It's weird. I look at the squad we have, and I think it's okay, it's decent. But I look at some of the players, and look at some of the players we've left behind, and I'm like, again, I want a manager to come in and play front-footed attacking football, and I just feel Tuchel is another one of them who is do not lose first, and it is what it is. Do I expect England to win the World Cup? No. I don't think there's a lot of great nations out there at the moment, though. Brazil, not the side they were. Germany, not the side they were. Argentina probably are. Belgium, not the side they were. They've lost a lot of their main players over the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting. France look really strong. So I would say it's going to be between France and Argentina, same as last time, right? So do I see England winning it? No. If we don't go through, I think Tuchel should go. Time to get an Englishman back in charge for me. That's just me. England should be managed by an English manager. Jimmy says, two darn so for don't forget the SO Silver Coins collection. Absolutely amazing promotion. Do I remember that? Is that the 70s? Or was that I'm sure I can remember something like that in the past. Machina Joe said Tuchel was hired to win the World Cup, same as Pepe was hired to win the Champions League at Bayern. Or Pep was yeah. So we will see what happens. I don't see England winning it. I'm disappointed with some of the some of the players we've left behind. I still look at England and I see Jordan Henderson in that midfield, and I'm like, how can we expect to win a World Cup with him in now, personally? But we will see. We need our big players to turn up. We need Harry Kane to be on top form. We need everything to go our way. If it goes our way, then there's no reason why we can't. I think it's going to be one of them. I really do. I think we're either not even going to get out of the group and we're going to come home with our tail between our legs, or we could go all the way. That's why I think this first game is massive. We lose to Croatia. I think we could fall apart, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. What do you think? Do you think England could win the World Cup? Is it going to be our year? Are we finally going to lay the ghost of 66 behind and say, yes, we have won a World Cup since then? It would be great, wouldn't it? But I don't know. I don't know. Corey says McDonald's have a collector's cup promotion going on. Woo! Get in there, McDonald's. I haven't seen that. We were only in McDonald's yesterday. I haven't seen it. Paige says, beside Holland, I always cheer Germany as well. But this World Cup, I need them to do bad. Nagelsmann out, Klopp or Pep in. Yeah, listen, I love the Dutch. I love watching Dutch football. And I just, love what they bring to football. They are a bit more like your football insides, yeah. They play football the right way, and they've always had great players, the Dutch team. So for me, the Dutch are some of my favourites. And of course, we got some Dutch players now. We might have a few more in the summer. So yeah, we will see what happens. Pete says, taken, or talking of McDonald's, anyone remembers the spaceship meal deal? Meals served in plastic flying saucers. No, I don't. I don't remember that. Um, but wow. Razzle said, can you remember 3 Lions and 30 Years of Hurt? Um, it's now double that, 60 Years of Hurt. Fuck me, Razzle. Seriously, fuck me. Pete says, thanks for that, Razzle. Yeah, cheers, mate. I didn't realise I was that old, but I clearly am. And the thing is, I was going out partying then, so it wasn't even like I was a kid. Machina Joe says, Germany, Italy, Brazil. I'm not where they used to be. Germany not getting out of this group. Not getting out of the group twice in a row, and Italy not qualifying 3 times in a row is unthinkable before. Brazil losing 7-1, which I wasn't yet. None of them are what they were, right? And it's sad, I think, but we will see what happens this World Cup. Paige says we have a great legacy bringing talent through, but we ain't got the team. Needed 2 penalties to beat Uzbekistan. Oh, I can't bloody read. Uzbekistan in a friendly. Got there in the end. Razzle said, I know I was shocked when I thought about it. It's like when you talk about Back to the Future, isn't it? And it was like, can't remember the exact saying now, but um yeah, it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Stig said we won't win the World Cup. Keeper and defense isn't good enough. Croatia will be a good test to see where we are. 100% agree. 100% agree. And Machina Joe says Nigel David Moyes for England manager next. No, he's Scottish. He's Scottish, mate. No chance. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to pass you over to the 2 marks. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Hit that like if you haven't on the way out. It is so important. Subscribe to, and I will see you on the next stream. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. And as always, come on, you Spurs.